Okay. So just before I start, can anyone confirm are you able to see my screen? And I hope there is no background
Yep.
disturbances.
Yeah, we are able to see. Aman.
Okay, fine. So if you remember in the last session, okay, before there are some mandatory things that I need to cover. I'm very sorry. So let's start from here. So in the last session, we discussed about this, what is called overview of flow, where I told you what is flow, and then we discussed about what are different types of flows that are available. Name it screen flow, record trigger flow, and then auto launch flow, and then schedule trigger flow, and the last one was platform event flow. Okay, so that all we discussed. Then I discussed about variables, collections, all that things. So the main agenda of this series is to make you understand what is flow. Then today we will see, obviously we'll see today record trigger flow. Then we will see in the next session, which is on 8th October, screen flows. And at the last, I'll tell you about Winter 23 updates, which has been bought by Salesforce on flows. So Winter 23 updates will be totally focusing on the flows. So with that said, let's see what is today's agenda. So today's agenda will be to cover global variables, and after that, discovering the record trigger flow types. What are the in the record trigger flow? Also, there are different types that are available, so that we will see. After that, we will see how to follow the different paths that are available in record trigger flow, and then we will explore the flow entry conditions. With that, so there will be not much theoretical part, because I told you in the last session itself, I want to make this session both theoretical and practical implementation. So I'll keep it less theoretical and more practical implemented way. And at the last, we will have Q&A. So with that, let's start with the first part, global variables. So if you know, in the last session we discussed about variables, right? So I told you, right, variable is nothing but it can be it kind of a collection, not a collection, it's a kind of a box where you can store the data of the same data type. Okay, like if I am declaring a variable and its type, as I said in the last session also, its a type is Salesforce character. So you can have, or in the for this simple example, if we create a variable with the type as number, so you can't have text variable or text characters entered into that variable. Okay, so with that revision, we will see the next important thing in our record trigger flow, that is global variables. Okay, so what is global variable? So global variables are system provided variables that reference information about the Salesforce or running user. Okay, so when you hear the term global, okay, if there are people from developer background, so if you know that when you write Apex class, you can have some class as public, private, protected, and global. When you say global, that means it's available for the entire org and maybe outside the org as well. In the same way, there is something called global variables in flow. Okay, so if you want to use some of the variables which is just not restricted to your object for which you are writing your flow, out of that you want to use some of the variables. Like for example, if I take this as user, okay, so what this variable will store, this variable or this particular variable that I'm talking about will store the values of that particular user who is running this flow. Okay, same goes for the APIs and labels. So there are a lot of variables that are available, but as I told you, my main focus for these sessions are to make your basic understanding clear, or you can say the basic part clear for the flows. So keeping that thing in mind, I will be telling you about two important global variables that are available in flows. So the first variable that is available, or sorry, not variable, the first global variable that is available is called record. And the second one, which is another important global variable, is record prior. Okay, so what is the difference between record and record prior? So the record variable will store the triggering record values. Okay, and record prior variable will store triggering record that had immediately now what does that mean? Okay, now let us take an example. You created a account, okay, with the name Aman Tiwari. Okay, you created an account with the first name as Aman. You created a contact with the first name as Aman and last name as Tiwari. Okay, and you saved it. Okay, now what will happen is your record global variable will store, will have the values as Aman Tiwari. Okay, for record dot first name will have the value as Aman and the last name will have Tiwari. And now going ahead, you want to make some changes. Okay, so what you will do, you will go to that particular account with the name Aman Tiwari. You will click on edit. Okay, now you change the first name as Aman Anil and the last name as you kept it as it is Tiwari. Okay, so your record global variable will now have the first name as Aman Anil and your record prior global variable will have that first name value as Aman. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. Record prior will have the values which was there before this trigger got triggered. Okay, and the record global variable will have the values after the record after that trigger got triggered. Okay, if there is a confusion, I'll take another example. Okay, like if you suppose there is a field called amount, okay, and you want to calculate the difference between the amount that was previously there and like there was an amount of 10,000. Now you change the amount to 20,000 and I want to calculate the difference. Okay, so what I will do in my flow, I will write record prior dot amount. So I will write the formula. Difference is equal to record prior dot amount minus record dot amount minus record prior dot amount. So record will have the new value that is 20,000 and record prior will have the old value which was not changed as 10,000 and then it will give me the difference. Okay, so I hope that was made you understand the things. And if you want to know more about global variables, so you can follow this link. I'll just give this link after the session and you can learn more about this link. Okay, so I'll show you. So this will talk about all the global variables that are available. Okay, out of this, for making your learning easier as a beginner, two global variables are important. First one is record and the second one is record prior. Okay, and that these are the rest of the global variables that are available. Now, going ahead for the next part, let me paste this link in the chat. So if you want to explore global variables for that. With that said, we will see the next part, trigger type. Before I go on to the trigger type, I want to tell you some of the basic concepts which is important to understand the record trigger flow. Okay, so why we are using this record trigger flow? So record trigger flow, as the name suggests, it is getting triggered on some particular record. Okay, so record is nothing in what do you say, in the database term or in your IT terms, technical terms, it is called data, and collection of records is called as database. Okay, now if you know SQL or even if you don't know, that's not a problem. So whenever we create the record, where it gets stored? It gets stored in the database. Now you will say that in Salesforce we have never seen a database, right? So there is something called as tabs. What is tabs? Tabs is nothing but what? Collection of records for a particular object. Okay, so your tabs is nothing but a database. Okay, so in database we store the values in the form of tables, but in Salesforce we have that form, that thing in tabs. Okay, now why I am saying all this is because when we want to understand any kind of trigger, so we need to understand this particular terminologies, database terminology, which is called commit and rollback. Okay, now what is commit? So I'll take an example and I'll tell you. Okay, so this is my contacts. Okay, this is just one example, my contacts, and here I am trying to create new contact. Okay, what I did, I went to contact detail page. I entered all the details. Okay, like first name, last name, and all the mandatory details which were necessary. After that, I click on save button. Okay, now when you click on save button, actually what happens is you are committing a change to the database. Okay, so what is commit? Commit means updating of a record in the database or saving of record in the database permanently. Okay, which will make all the changes visible to the users. So if you see here, before I created this contact name Ram, there was no contact with that name. Okay, once I enter all the details with the name and all the details and I click on save button, a commit is happening. And when that commit happens, it will appear something like this. So there was already a contact with the name Rahim, and I made a commitment. That means I created a record. Okay, and then another contact got created with the name Ram. So this particular operation is called as committing to the database. If you are making any changes to this Ram, okay, I mean this Ram contact has already been created. Now I will change something. Okay, maybe email ID or phone number. So again, the change that I'm doing is what is committing the changes to the database. Now the next terminology is rollback. Now what is rollback? So rollback means whatever changes, like if you have made any changes and you want to discard that changes as a part of a transaction. Okay, that means you want to remove that changes whichever you have made. Like you created a contact with the name Ram. Okay, and you entered wrong email ID. You want to remove the wrong email ID. Okay, so that can be done using rollback. Okay, so these are the two terminologies that are there. The first one is commit and the second one is rollback. Now the next important thing that is there is called DML, or in developer terms, it is called as data manipulation language. Now, what is this DML? So DML means making a communication between yourself and your system. It is similar to, it is a way to manage records by providing simple statements. Okay. Now, if I, let's take an example of, what do you say? What an example I can take. If you're trying to insert, I mean, if you are creating a record, okay. Now what you do first, you go on to that new button, which is there, maybe on account or contact or opportunities. You go to a new button, you enter the details, and then you click on save. Okay. When you click on save, you are just trying to save that record. That means you are trying to create a new contact, right? Maybe contact, account, or opportunity. But how will that Salesforce will understand? So for that, they use DML. Okay. When I click on that save button, or when I click on that new button, that means I am trying to create a new record. So Salesforce will understand, okay, he is trying to use a DML statement called as insert. When I'm trying to make some changes to the record, then Salesforce will understand. I will click on that edit button. Then Salesforce will say, okay, he is trying to update. So he will, the Salesforce will call a DML statement called update. Okay. So in the same way, if you see this DML statements are available. Okay. This DML statements you will normally see. Some of them you will see in data loader, while some or many or and all of them you will see in your Apex language. So as I told you, Salesforce is trying to bridge the gap between the admin and developers. So if you see this insert DML statement, which is available in our Apex, okay, the same thing is available in Flow as create record. Update statement is available as update record. Delete is available as delete record. So these are the elements and these are the statements. So this DML statement has an alternative in Flow with this element. Okay. Now, now what we will do, we will see each of this particular DML statements which is available as an element in Flow. Okay, I'll show the practical implementation of it. Another important thing that you need to keep in mind is you can perform DML operations for single record as well as for bulk record. When I say bulk, that means I'm trying to say large number of records. But it's always a good thing, or you can say a best practice, maybe like whether you are in Flow or whether you are in Apex, always try to bulkify. When I say bulkify, always try to perform your DML operation on bulk of record. Even though you want to make changes, or even you want to keep this DML operations on one record, okay, but write your Flow or write your Apex class in such a way that it can handle many records or multiple records. Okay, so these are some of the best practices that you need to keep in mind. Okay, now the next important terminology that I will tell you is about query. Now, people who are not from the developer background might be thinking, what is this query, right? Query is very much similar to making a request to the database. In simple terms, when you were in your school, if you want to enter a classroom, you need to take a permission. You need to make a request to your teacher. May I come in? And then she will approve it, and then you will be able to enter the class in your class, okay, in your classroom. In the same way, if I want to access some records, okay, if I want to get access to some records, what I will do, I will make a request to my database, okay, to my particular object. So that particular request that we do is called as, in Salesforce terms, is called as query. Okay, so what is query? It's a request for a database data so we can retrieve or manipulate it. Okay, now as I told you that when you were in your school, you had different requests or different requests. When you want to drink water, you will ask in a different way. You will make a request in a different way. You want to enter a classroom, you will make a request in another way. In the same way, when you want to perform different kind of manipulation on your records, you will have, there is something called as filters. Okay, I'll take an example for that. So you will have that filters available. Okay, now query is the term which we use in Apex. Then what is the term that we used in Flows? So we use, for query counterpart in Flows, we have something called as get record element. Okay, get record element is a substitute, or you can say that it's an alternative for query word that we use in our Apex language. Okay, now how does it appear? If I want to say, okay, if I want to say, give me name or give me the contacts whose name starts with Aman. Okay, so there are contacts in my contact record, in my contact object, Aman Tiwari, Satyam, and Aman Khan. Okay, now I'm telling, so what I'll do, I'll write a query in, or I will make use of get record element. How does it goes? That we will see using Flows. That I'll show you how we can use this get record element. But at the backend, how it happens, I'm saying that give me the contacts whose first name is equal to Aman. So at what will happen once we say that, we will write something in my what do you say, SOQL, or using this get record element, we will write something, and then Salesforce will translate, and then it will give me the data in this way. So the results will be Aman Tiwari and Aman Khan. Okay, I hope everything is clear till now. Now, I was telling you about trigger type. So before I move on to the trigger type, let me see if there is any question. Okay, so there is no question. If you have any questions today, there is no option, I think, to unmute yourself and ask questions, because I have to cover a lot of things. But if you have questions, you can put it in the chat, and at regular intervals, I will see the question and I will try to answer it. Sorry, was there anyone trying to ask something? Okay, fine. Okay, so we will move on to the next part, which is called as trigger type. Okay, now why this record trigger flow was introduced? So it was introduced. If you see, there is in Apex, there is something called as Apex triggers. Whatever functionality an Apex trigger achieves, I won't say that all the functionalities my record trigger flows will achieve as of now, but most of the functionalities or most of the things can be achieved through record trigger flow. So that's the reason I have striked off. Sorry, I have striked off this word Apex triggers and I've replaced it with record trigger flows. So what does record trigger flows does? It's enable us to perform custom actions before or after changes to Salesforce records, such as insertion, updations, or deletions. Okay. Now you might be thinking, this all things was possible in workflow rule as well as process builder. Okay. So let me clarify that in your workflow rule and in your process builder, you were able to perform after part. Okay. That means after my record is getting changed, after my field update is happening, then do this. Before before update, before insert, before delete, that was not possible in your process builder or workflow rule. So that's the power of your record trigger flows. And there is no doubt that record trigger flow is a substitute for your process builder. Workflow is no longer there. So if from today or tomorrow onwards, if you try to create a new workflow rule, you won't be able to create. Process builder still there, but the future is record trigger flow. And that's the substitute for your process builder or workflow rule. Okay. Now, as I told you, there are two types of record trigger flow. Okay. The first one is called as before triggers. That is nothing but before save. Okay. And in flow, you will find written before triggers, you will find it written fast field update. At the last, when you are trying to mention the entry condition, you will find this option, fast field update. So when you see the fast field update, always keep in mind that it is talking about before trigger or before save. And the second type is after triggers or after save. And how can I identify in my record trigger flow? So there it will be written as actions and related records. When it is talking about actions and related records, always keep in mind that it is talking about after triggers. Okay. Now, how does it look in a pictorial view? So let me show you. This is like making your changes to the database. Okay. Once you click on save record, so this is the button which will be there for saving record. Okay. And then there is an option called, as I told you, commit and roll back, right? So the change is committed to the database. This is the point where the commit will be happening to the database. Okay. So when this commit is happening, there are two phases. The first phase is called as before save, and the second phase is called as after save. Okay. So this is the way you can think it of how it looks when you are clicking on save record. When I want to have some operations, have some updation, insert or deletion happening before my data is getting committed to the database, then this is the way it will happen at the backend. When I want to have it after, then this is the way, after the commit is made to the database, then it will happening in the backend, or you can say in your database, the pictorial view will be like this. Okay. Now, is that enough for me to understand about before save and after save? No, there are some more things that I will tell you. Okay. So let me go more deep. So this, as I told you, go to this option when you need to update fields on the record that triggers the flow. Now you might be having a confusion when to use before save and when to use after save. Okay, I'll give you what you say an easy way to understand when to use before save and when to use after save. Always use before save when you want to perform the operation on the same record. I mean on the same object. When you want to perform some operations or some actions, then you go for before save. Okay, now I'm told a term called action. Okay, let me tell you that when you want to perform any action, I mean when I'm creating a record or I'm updating a record, after that I want to send an email alert. Okay, if that action I want to do, I can't use before save. Why? Because before save will always allow you to make changes to the records. It won't allow you to perform any action. If you want to perform any action called uh, send email alert or send an outbound message, then you need to use an option called as actions, which is there in after save, actions and related records. Okay, so if you want to make changes to the same record, then you need to use before save. But if you want to make changes to the related records, then you need to use after saves, or you can say that actions and related records. So can I give you an example for that? Yes. When you need to use before save, like I will say that whenever whenever a contact is created, okay, then enter the phone number, enter the email ID field as contact first name @gmail.com. So this particular thing can be achieved through before save. Okay, now when to use after save? So if I will say that when a contact is created, obviously I have taken, I'll show you the practical implementation as well. Whenever a contact is created, send an email to the contact, for the contact who have created this contact, send an email alert or send an welcome message to that particular contact which has been created into the database. Then I will use after save. Okay. So as I told you about before save and after save, in flow terms, before save will be called as fast field update and after save will called as actions and related records. Okay, now there are some advantage as well as disadvantage for both before save or fast field updates and after save, which is called as actions and related record. So the advantage is that this type of flow before save will be far more faster than the after save. Why? Because you are performing the operation on that particular record itself. Okay, there is no related records or no related thing that are going to be taken care. So therefore, before save will be very much faster as compared to the after save flow. Okay, now there are some limits in before save or what you say fast field update. You can't perform update only on record that trigger. You can perform update only on record that triggers the flow. As I told you, you can't perform update or any other operations on the related records. For that, you need to use after save. The second is you can't use an interaction element like a subflow or perform an action for example, sending an email. And the third and the important limitation is that you can't schedule flow. Okay, because it is happening immediately. Okay, fast field update means it will happen at the same time itself. So you can't schedule it. Okay, now how to explore this option, that I will tell you going little bit more ahead in the session. Okay, now when to use after save, I told you when to use it. So when you are creating, updating or deleting any other record other than the one who triggers the flow. As I told you, you're writing you're writing a trigger on account and you want that some changes should happen to the contact. So they are related, account and contact are related to each other. At that time, I will use after save. Perform actions like sending emails or calling subflows. Again, you can achieve this using after save, which is called as action and related records. Now, what are the limitations So you can call a subflow in after save, but you can't call a subflow that has a pause element. So there is something called as pause element as well. So if your subflow is having pause element in that, then you can't use that subflow inside your after save flow. Okay. Update records element must be used to update triggering record. Assignment element won't update the record. So this I will tell, I'll show you when I'm doing practical implementation in. And another thing, as I told you, process builder. Okay. So process builder and workflow rule used to perform after our operations. So yes, process builder is your, after save is your alternate solution or the fixed solution for your process builder. Okay. Now we saw that there is a limit called can't use scheduled path in your before save record trigger flow. Okay. Now what is that schedule path? Okay. So for that, in record trigger flow, there is 3 different paths available. Okay. The first path is called as immediate path, and the second one is called as scheduled path, and the third one is called as asynchronous path. Okay. It will look something like this. I will show that in on the practical implementation again. So if you want to know about them, so immediate path is when a record is updated and you want that flow to execute at that particular moment itself, then you use immediate path. Like I want that particular change to happen at the same moment itself, and I want to see that change. Then I will go for immediate path. What is asynchronous path? This is very much similar to your asynchronous apex. So at some point after the automation in the transaction is successfully committed to the database, you want to make some call to the external system. Then you will use asynchronous path. Okay. External system will give you an update, and then after that, your flow will perform some operation, and then it will show you on the UI. Okay. So there is no fixed time for that. Okay. It will happen in an asynchronous way. Then I will use asynchronous path. And the third one is called schedule path. Okay. So what is schedule path? I want to have this particular thing. Like I want to send an email reminder for a particular person to fill out the details before the last date. So that I can do it using scheduled path. Okay. Now I will show you how does it look like on UI. There are a lot of theoretical part that I've talked about. So how to use a flow or how to create a flow, you need to come to your setup. Then you need to come into your quick find and you need to search for flows. And here in the process automation, you will find this. Okay. Now I'll show you. I'll click on this new flow. And out of this, I will select an option called as record trigger flow. Now I'll click on create. Okay. Before I tell you about the 3 different paths that are available, I'll tell you about this particular UI that you are seeing here. Okay. This is called as flow configurator, record trigger flow configurator. The first option or the first thing that you see here will tell you to select an object on which you want this flow to get triggered. The second will talk about when you want this flow to get triggered. That means you want it when the record is created, or it is updated, or it is updated or created or deleted. Okay. The third particular thing or the third particular section that we see here is called as set entry conditions. This is very important. Okay. Like suppose I want this flow to get triggered, okay, only when my opportunity stage is at qualification. So only at that time I want my record trigger flow to get triggered. So that particular thing will be handled through set entry conditions. Okay. In set entry conditions, there are 4 different condition requirements. First one is called all conditions are met, which is nothing but AND operator. The second one is called any condition is met, which is your OR operator. The third one is called custom logic is met. That means you can modify your logic. Okay. And the fourth one is called formula evaluates to true. Okay. Now how and when to use which one? So you need to use none if you don't want any particular condition to trigger your flow, then you will set it as none. Okay. But always remember how many set entry conditions are available? 4. Okay. The first one is called all conditions are met and. So what does it means? It means that suppose I am giving you 2 conditions. Okay. I am saying that opportunity state should be qualification and opportunity amount should be 10,000. Okay. Until and unless both condition is meeting, this record trigger flow won't get triggered. Okay. So and means suppose there is statement 1 and there is statement 2. So first statement should also be true and the second statement should also be true. When both the conditions are true, only then this particular flow will get triggered. When I'm talking about or means any of the condition should be meeting. Like as I told you, opportunity stage is qualification and opportunity amount is 10,000. So if the opportunity stage is qualification, but opportunity amount is not 10,000 or it is less than 10,000, then too this flow will get triggered. Why? Because I'm using OR condition. OR condition is saying if you have statement 1 and if you have statement 2. If your statement 1 is satisfied, that is it has become true, and your statement 2 is not satisfied, it has become false, then too this flow will get triggered because it is using OR operator. Okay. The third one is called custom logic. So I will show you how this custom logic works. I will use an object called opportunity because I've taken the example of opportunity. And I will mention about stage equals qualification. And again, condition I'm giving amount equals 10,000. Okay. Now here I have used OR operator. Okay. But I want to use my own custom logic. Like again, I will use one more condition saying that close date should be greater than or equal any date I will mention. I'll mention today's date. I think it's October 1. So 10/01/2022. Okay. And I want to this first and second statement should be satisfied, but the third one should be optional. Now here, if I want to change this logic, so then I will use this option called as custom logic is met. Okay. What I said, I want this to be satisfied no matter if this one is, third one is optional. So here I will change the logic as 1 and 2. Okay. And I will keep it as, sorry. I will change this as like this. Okay. I want this to get satisfied and third one is optional. Then I will use custom logic is met and I will change the logic. Now you might be having a condition, a question when to use formula evaluates to true. Okay. Now if you see here, I was using a condition that where I was saying close date and then I mentioned a particular date. But if I want to say, if I want to make my particular selection, like if I want to say that my close date should be today. Okay. So what I will do, I will use a function, or first I will enter the this, what you say, particular field. Okay. So opportunity close date, and here or I want to say that I'll say take an easy one. Okay. I want to say that I want to today also I can use, but I will say record date should be today. So this is not the right way. You can use your equal operator here, equals today. Okay, I want closed should be today. So I'll check syntax. It's right. And then we can use this condition. Like I want this flow to get trigger only when the close date is today. Okay. So this is the entry condition which I'm talking about. And the last thing that I was you, this is fast field update, which is nothing but before save. If you see here, it is already telling you this high performance flow runs before the record is saved to the database. That's what I was telling you. And the second one is action and related records. It will, it's saying this more flexible flow runs after the record is saved to the database. Okay. So this is before save, or you can say before trigger flow. And this one is after save or after trigger flow. Okay. Now I was telling you something about path. Okay. So 3 different paths: immediate path. Second one was a scheduled path. And the third one was asynchronous path. So I'll tell you about that path. But before that, I go ahead. Let me see. Is there any question? Can we use relative in close date like tomorrow, this year, etc.? Yes, that we can use it, right? I told you that we can perform through this particular formula. Okay, you got the answer. Yeah. Now, if I want to use path, okay, immediate and schedule path, and the third one was the asynchronous path. So immediate path will be available directly. You don't need to do any particular thing. It will be directly available in ForceSave. If I click on this and click on done, you will see that this is the fast what you say immediate path that is available. Now if you see here, I have selected the option of before save. Okay, and I told you about 2 more paths, right? So let me go to this free form layout. I prefer free form layout. I was telling you about 2 other paths, asynchronous path and scheduled path. Okay, so if you see here, there is no option to select schedule path or asynchronous path. Now how that option becomes available? As I told you, right, schedule path means you are scheduling your work at a particular time after the condition is meeting. So that option will be available only for after, that is action and related records. So if you see here, if I select this option and I click on done, now you see that add schedule path option becomes available. Okay. And if you want to use asynchronous path, then you need to select another option, which is called as include a run asynchronously path to access an external system after the original transaction for the triggering record is successfully committed. So you need to select this, and then only that option will available. So if you see here, now it is showing schedule paths 2. And if you click on edit, here you are getting 2 options. So run asynchronously, and if you click on new schedule path, so run immediately, there is no condition that you need to write. Run asynchronously, so here you can select the condition from below, and you can run asynchronously after the things become available from the external system. And new schedule path, you can schedule it. So in the new schedule path, as I told you, it is you're scheduling it. So you have to select time source. Okay, when you want this to happen. So if I select when opportunity is created or my close date or something, okay, so it will select a date option. It will show you the time source, will show you the date option. If I say opportunity close date, offset number. So offset number means after that particular day. So if you come from a developer background, you have 2 options, right? When you write a query, one is limit and the second one is offset. So when you use limit, if I say select ID comma name from account limit 10, so it will give me 10 records, first and records. Okay. If I select okay. And if I select offset, select ID comma name from account offset 10. So it will give me from the 10th onwards record. Like if I want to have after 10th record, I want to have all the records. I don't want the first 10 records. After 10th record I want. So I will use offset, right? The same thing is available here. If I want this particular trigger to fire after so and so number of days. So what I will do, I will mention the offset number. If I say 10 and if I select here anything, I select days after. So after 10 days it will fire. Okay, if I select 10 hours before. So after this flow is about to get fire, before 10 hours, a scheduled trigger flow will get fire. Okay. Now, if you want to perform this operation in some chunks, okay, when I say chunks, I mean to say in some particular batches. So you can, this is an optional thing, you can mention the batch size as well. Okay, as we know, the default size for the default batch size is 200. The same is available in the flow as well. Okay, so all these things are available. I hope you understood whatever I'm trying to say. So before, let me see, is there any doubts or any questions? Okay, so there is no questions. As I told you, so there can be two reasons. Either I'm explaining you very well, or the second might be you all are sleeping. So I'm trying not to make this session more more interactive. This part is not possible to make it interactive because I have to cover a lot of things. I think I am done with the practical part. Yes, sorry, I'm done with the theoretical part. Now I will show you the practical implementation. Okay, so the first scenario, which I will be achieving it using fast field updates, is when a new contact is created, check if phone field is not empty, and also check if home phone field is empty. Okay, when both of the above conditions are met, only then run the flow. What to do? Copy the value of phone field to the home field. So this is the way you will get the requirement as a user story. So it won't be such like, it won't be more specific like this, but somewhat similar. Okay. Now what it is saying, when a new contact is created. So first thing you should keep in mind, it is talking about only then run the flow. So it is talking about flow. So always try to solve the problem not into the technical way. Think of each problem in a business way or in a customer way. Okay, this is the hardest lesson that I learned in my initial days. So any of the people who are very new to your Salesforce career, so this is a suggestion for you. Always whenever you get a problem, always try to think of it in a business way. Okay, so that is the way, and then break down into small pieces and then try to solve it. So as you see here, this statement, okay, so it is talking about only then run the flow. The first thing that you should keep in mind is that it is talking to create a flow. So then you click on new flow button. Then it is telling you when a new contact is created. So you got two hints that I want to use a flow when a contact is created. Okay. Now you might be thinking, how will I understand which flow I need to use? Either I need to use screen flow or record trigger flow. It's already saying that when a new contact is created, it is not asking you to create a new contact. Okay. So then the another part becomes clear that I need to use record trigger flow. Okay. Then I click on create. And it was saying on contact object. So I will select contact as an object. It is saying when a new contact is created. So again, when a new contact is created, trigger the flow when a record is created. Next, it is saying if phone field is not empty, and also check if home phone field is empty. So it is telling you before you trigger this flow, there are some conditions that you need to check. Okay, so I will go and click on this set entry conditions, and it is saying and also check. So that means I need to use all conditions are met. Now the first one that they said is phone field is not empty. So I will select phone. This is the field phone. Okay. And then here I will select is null, should be false. Why? Because phone field should not be empty. The second one, they are saying that home phone field should be empty. So I will select home phone is null, and then I will select here at true. Okay. And then it is saying copy the value of phone field to the home field. That means I want to perform, I want to trigger this flow at the same movement on the same particular object, on the contact object itself. So I will use this option, fast field updates, and I will click on done. Okay. Now, as I told you, I will select this option. I prefer free form. Now what I need to do, I need to copy the value of phone field to the home field. So what I will do, I will use assignment operator. Assignment element. Okay. So I will say copy phone value to home phone. And here the variable, I will keep it as, so I was telling you something about record global variable, right? So record global variable will store the fields of the particular object for which you are creating this flow. Okay, so if you see here, I am going to use that particular global variable record. So it is having which object? Contact. So what I'll say, contact dot home phone should be equal to record again contact dot phone. Okay. Now what will happen is, what I wanted, copy the value of phone field to the home phone field. So home phone field now will have the value of phone field. Okay. Click on done. Then connect this using connectors. And then click on save. So phone contact phone field copy to home phone. Okay. Then I'll click on save. Always keep in mind, this is very important as a admin or a developer whomsoever is working on flow. Before you activate your flow, make sure that it is working fine. So to check that, you will always use debug. Okay. I will, now you might be having question, Aman, you are triggering this flow when a contact is created. So you're not getting an option to create the contact. Okay. So what I will do, I will use a contact just for the testing purpose, which is already created. Do not get confused. I will show you by using it on the org as well. I mean here as well. So contact, and I will see this. I've already created a contact. Let me see whether the phone field is there. Yes. So if you see here, there is already a phone field which is already populated. So I will use this for my debug purpose. Let me see the contact name, Aman Tiwari. So Aman Tiwari, and I'll click on run. So it is saying completed. So that means the flow is working fine. Now the next thing that you need to do is to activate it so that you can test on the real-time basis. So what I will do, I will again go here and I will click on new contact. Okay. And I will give it a name as anything, Satyam Foundation Flow, and I will give the phone number 98. Okay. And let's see whether this phone field is getting copied to home phone or not. Okay. Now let's go to the details section. And if you see here, home phone is having the value which is there in phone field. Okay. I hope there is no doubt in this. Okay, let me check in the chat. This will work for bulk records also. There is no need to use collection and loop, right? Yes, this will work for bulk as well. So actually, I won't say that, yes, this particular flow will work on bulk as well. Okay. But there are situations where you need to use collections as well. Okay. There will be some scenarios where we need to use collection and loop. Okay. For this, we don't need to use, but going ahead, might be in the next session, I will make use of collection and loop as well. Let me see the another question. Will this flow support bulk import contact also? Yes, definitely it will. You can give a try. The only way we get these questions clear is until unless we try to do this on our own. Okay. With that said, let's move on to the next scenario. So we are falling short of time, so I won't be able to cover all the scenarios, but I'll try to cover most of the scenarios. Now, the second one is when an opportunity is created or updated, if the amount is greater than 1,000, then give a discount of 10%. Okay. Now let's see. So if you see here, this discount field will not be there in your org. So there is a prerequisite to create this field. So it's already there in my org. So what is there, that whenever the account is created or updated, and if the amount is greater than 1,000, then give a 10% discount. Okay. So we will go here again and we will try to break it down into small pieces. So when an opportunity is created, so again, I'll click on new flow and it is saying that opportunity is already created or updated. Okay. So I will click again, record trigger flow, and now on which object it is talking? It is talking about opportunity. So I'll select opportunity. And what was the triggering part? Opportunity is created or updated. So I will select this one. A record is updated or created or updated. Any condition? Yes, if the amount is greater than 1,000. So again, I will go here and I will say the condition and I will say here amount. Okay. Not equals, it will be greater than 1,000. And then now I didn't explain you about this particular part, right? When to run the flow for update records. Keeping that thing in mind, I have created this scenario. So for now, we will keep it as it is. Every time a record is updated and meets the condition requirement. So before we try to execute this flow, let me tell you what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, so I will go to this opportunities records and I will, so if there is already one opportunity created, okay, I will select this opportunity and I will click on edit. Now what I'm trying to do is whenever the amount, okay, whenever the amount is greater than 1,000, then I should be able to give 10% discount. Directly a 10% discount should be given. Okay, so that is the requirement. Also, this discount can be changed if the opportunity is good. What I mean to say is, if I feel that I can give more discount, that should also be achievable. Okay, like from my flow, it will by default give 10% discount. But if I feel that this opportunity can be closed won, then I can give more as well. Okay, let's try to achieve this. So I will go and I select file updates again, and I will click on done. Okay, and here I will select free form. I'll use this assignment operator and I will say 10% discount. So here the variable is discount. Sorry, you need to select object first. So record dot, that is opportunity dot discount should be 10%. Okay, now I'll click on done. I'll click and select assignment and I'll click on save. So I'll say opportunity discount and I'll click on save. Now I'll directly activate it. I know I need to debug, but we are again falling short of time. So I will directly activate it and I will try to create one opportunity first, because my particular this flow is working on both creation and updation, that is create or update. So opportunity name, I will say test opportunity flow. Close date, I will give it future date, maybe 5th October. Stage, I will give it as qualification. And amount, here if you see, amount I'm giving is 1000. So as per our flow, if the amount is 1000, okay, let me show you. If the amount is 1000, then sorry, amount is greater than 1000, then this flow should trigger. So now I am giving the amount only as 1000. Okay, let's see it is triggering or not. So I'll go to detail section and I'll go down. And if you see here, there is no discount, because as I said, the discount amount should be greater than 1000. Now I will make it as 1111 and I will click on save. Let's see whether I'm getting discount. Yes, I'm getting a discount of 10%. Now what happened is you had a good conversation with this opportunity, with the client who is building up this opportunity, and you tried to give him more discount. Okay, you are planning to give him little more discount because you seem that he will go to the next stage for value proposition, and I'm trying to give him 15% discount. Okay, now I will give him, I have decided to give him 15% discount. I will give him 15% and I'll click on save. Oh, but there is a problem. I gave him 15% discount, but still it is showing me 10% discount. This is not the right thing, right? Why? I want to give him more than 10% discount, but I'm not able to do so. Okay. Now, if I want to achieve this requirement, how can I achieve this? So the major problem happened here. What is this saying? Every time a record is updated and meet the condition requirement. So this particular option is very much similar to the option that you had in your process builder, created and every time it's edited. So this is what it is saying. So what is happening is no matter what field I am changing, even though I made change to field called value proposition and I gave a discount of 15%, still I'm not able to give him 15% discount because I have mentioned a condition every time a record is updated and meet the condition requirement. Why? Because no matter whatever I'm making a change to the record, this condition is meeting. Okay, that amount is greater than 1000. That's why it is giving only 10% discount. What I want is, I want that if I'm changing another field, then I can give more discount. That is what my requirement was. So that can be achieved through this option only when a record is updated to meet the condition requirement. This is very much similar to the option that we have in process builder, created and every time it's edited to subsequently meet the criteria. So if you mention this, then what will happen is opportunity discount version 2, save. Now what will happen is I'll have to activate because this is the new version. Now what will happen is this will work fine. Why? Because now my flow is saying that only when you are making some changes to the amount field, only then I will give a discount of 10%. Let us check that. Okay. So if I see this flow, this trigger, here is also opportunities. Okay, let me create a new one. Okay. Or we will work on this only. I'll go to details section and I'll click on edit and I'll make it save. Okay. Now I will do what? I will make this as 11,101 and I will click on save. So as per this, I'm getting 10% discount. So this is fine. but now I've decided to give him more discount. Okay, now let's not go to any other, but I've decided to give him more discount. He is my prime customer. Okay, I'm giving him more discount. So now I should be able to give it the more discount. Let's see. Yes, now I'm able to give it more discount because it is not changing. I'm not making changes to this particular field through which this record trigger flow is getting triggered. This condition has already met. I'm not making changes to that particular condition. Okay. So that is the difference between every time a record is edited to meet the condition, or only when a record is updated to meet the condition requirement. Okay. So this is the thing that I wanted to tell you about. Let's see, is there any other question? No, I can't see any other question. That's good. Okay, let's move on to the next scenario. So I have some assignments. I'm not going to check this assignment. This is only for your practice. Okay, so let me paste this assignment in the chat box. These two assignments, you can do it. Okay, let's move on to the next particular scenario. Okay, what is the next scenario? When a new contact is created, make sure that email field is not empty. And then send welcome email to contact using simple text. Okay, now if you see here, how will you know that? First of all, you know that you need to use after save, you need to use record trigger flow. Then how will you know that you need to use before save or after save? It is saying that make sure that email field is not empty and send welcome email. So that means you need to perform an action, that is sending an email when a new contact is created. So I will click on new flow. Again, I'll click on record trigger flow. I will select this object, contact, and I will select this option, a record is created. Condition, is there any condition? Yes, make sure that email field is not empty. So again, I will select all conditions are met, and I will say email field. Another important thing, okay, there is two different way to perform null check. Okay, always keep in mind, whenever you want to check whether a numeric field is empty or not, use this option, is null and true or false based on the requirement. But whenever you want to check whether a text data type field is empty or not, then you need to use something called as, I'll show you, this one, global constant empty string. So what was our requirement? That email field should not be empty. So email does not equal empty. Okay, you can use this one, is null, and you can use true. Okay, that is null, sorry, is not true, it's false. You can use this, but there is no guarantee that it will work properly. So always perform the best practice and always make your flow or trigger or Apex class very much clear for any requirement. So a use does not equal, and here you need to use global constant empty string. Okay, give me a minute, I'm getting an important. I'm very sorry for that interruption. Okay, now, so the requirement, what? Email field should not be empty. And what we need to do, we need to send a welcome email to contact. So send a welcome email, that is an action. So I will select actions and related records and I'll click on done. Okay, again, I will select this free form. And if you see here, when I was showing you interaction, when I was showing you screen flow, okay, there was an interaction element called screen. But for our record trigger flow, there will be no interaction element called screen. So for this particular requirement, what we will use? Action interaction element. Okay, action element. And what I need to do? I need to send an email. So directly you can use this one, send email, you can type, or you can go down and you can find that option called email. Okay. Now, as we know, to send an email, we should use email alert action. And to use email alert action, we need to use email template, right? But see the beauty of flows. You can directly create a simple email. You can directly make use of an email template as well. So this is not the email template that I have created. This is the email template which is already given by Flow. Okay. So you can directly mention label. So welcome email. Okay. Description, I am just avoiding it. Body, again, you can make it dynamic the way you can do it in your in your email template. So I'll say contact dot first name, and I will say welcome to, now like this. Or I will use this in subject. Okay, I'll say welcome to, oh, I was not typing. Welcome to Flow Learning Series. Okay, and I'll write it hi, contact dot first name. And you can again use, if you want, always keep in mind, if you want to use any merge field, so before that you should never write any, what you say, any text or anything. Okay, so I'll use hi record dot first name, that it will say contact dot first name. It might be example, hi Aman, and oh, I missed wrong. I have did a small mistake. This I need to use here in my subject. Okay, so this is my subject, welcome to Flow Learning Series, and my body is like this, contact dot first name. So it will read like hi. If I am creating any contact, hi, welcome to Flow Series. Hope you will learn. Okay, and this recipient email address, comma separated. Here I will use enter a value. So here I will say contact dot email. Okay, so who will be my recipient? So that one email. And then if you want to use these other options like rich text formatted body or and any other thing, that we will not use because we are just focusing on the basics things. So I'll click on done, and I will connect this, and I will click on save. Flow label, welcome email to contact. I'll click on save. I will click on activate. And now it's time to test. So I will go to this contact object. And I will, as it was on create, so I will create with the name, any name we can give, will give it as anything we can give, this one. And very important thing, you should not miss the email ID field. So email ID field, I will give it my email ID because I need to show you. Okay. And I will click on save. So let's see whether email has been fired or not. Let me stop the sharing because I need to use my email ID. I need to go to my email ID. So for that, I will go here. Yeah, I will again share my screen. And here I will click on Gmail. And if you see here, it's there. Hi, welcome to Flow Learning Series. That was our subject. And here, hi Satya, welcome to Flow Series. Hope you will learn it well. So that's what we have written here in our flow, right? In action, if you see here, we have written welcome, hi, record.first name. So that was there. So it is very dynamic. Okay. Yeah, so that covers up our first scenario from the after save. Let me go to the second scenario. So before I go to the second scenario, let me see if there is any question. How many emails we can send using Flow Builder? Yes, I think this has been already answered. I guess 10. Actually, fact speaking, even I'm not sure how much email we can send it, but I will look, I will learn, I'll think of, I will do some R&D and I'll let you know in the next session. Okay. So in the previous session, there was a question by someone that is there any limit for using element inside our flow? Yes, I think I was telling that there is no limit, but someone from the session, after the session told me that there is a limit of 2000 or 2000 elements that we can use. So yeah, we can use 2000 element. After that, it start creating some problem. So yeah, as of now, there is a limit to use 2000 element inside a flow. When I'm talking about elements, so I'm telling this elements that are there, okay? This particular element that are there, we can use 2000 elements. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. Sorry, next scenario. So this I will be like check if the reset contacts checkbox custom field is checked, then delete all related contacts of that account. So when an account is updated, then if there is a checkbox, okay, called reset contact checkbox. If that checkbox is true, if this is selected, then I need to delete all the related contacts of that account. So there is again a prerequisite. If you want to test this particular scenario in your org, you need to have this field on your account object. Okay, so I already have. So I will show you. I will again click on new flow. I click on record trigger flow and I want it to fire on account object, account. And when I need to fire when account is updated. So I will select this option, a record is updated. So we have seen this particular trigger option, this option. Now we are seeing this, and at the last I will show you this option. So if you see here, okay, so there is some mishap happened. There is no electricity. Okay. Just can anyone confirm whether they are able to hear me and able to see my screen? Oh, thanks a lot. Actually, suddenly there was no electricity, so I thought there is no that is available on your screen. Okay, we are saying this option a record is update. And is there any condition, triggering condition? Yes, that reset box should be checked. So I will select again condition Y, and then I will select that reset contacts checkbox equals true. Okay. And what I need to do, delete all the related contacts. So this I was telling you about this particular scenario and this condition we talked about, that if the reset checkbox is true, then only this flow should get fired. Okay, so that I'll do now. The next thing that I need to do is I need to delete the related contacts. Okay, so what I can do is I can use this get records. What is this get record? This is something which is there in your Apex as query. Okay, so get related contacts, and after this you need to select an object. So contact. Okay, and how will it get the related contact for that account? So you need to type here, there is something, a field called as account ID. Account ID equals record, that is account, okay, dot ID. And you will see here that account ID. Okay, now list all these things, will leave it as it is. I want all the records, so I will select how many records to store. I will select all records and then I'll click on done. Okay, I will connect this connector. Now the next thing that I need to do is delete records. So I will drag this element delete records and I will say delete related contacts. Okay, so here I will use this option, use the IDs stored, and here I will use the IDs which are stored here. Okay, in this element, get records element, and I'll click on done. And after this I will connect this connector with this and I will drag it here. So if you want to have, I will click on save and I will say delete contact related to account. Okay, and click on save. Now I will click on activate. Now let's test it out. So a record is updated. So I will go to, so this particular account I do not have. I'll create an account, or I will use an existing account. So I will select here accounts. So this is the account there, Satyam Foundation. Okay, and it is having one contact already with it. I will create one more. Test contact. I'll click on save. Okay, now I will try to edit this and we'll check that reset checkbox is checked or not, reset contact. So it is not checked. I will check as and when I click on this check. Okay, as and when I make this checkbox is true, I'll click on save and then this contact should get deleted. So if you see here, now there is no contact. Okay, so this is the power of after save record trigger flow. And if you see here, if you see, or if you know, last time I was telling you to make your, or in this session also I was telling you to make your flow optimized. Okay, remove the unnecessary things. So if you see here, the same requirement which was there can be achieved in another way. So if I want to achieve the same requirement, there is another way. First I will deactivate this. Okay, and I don't want to use. So instead of using this get records, instead of querying it, this is the power of delete record elements. You can directly drag it here and you can say delete related contacts. Now what I was doing there, I was getting that records, okay, which is getting that contact records which was related to a specific account. So instead of doing that, and then I was using that get record element inside my delete record element, I will remove all that and I'll directly mention the condition here. So you can mention the condition, what? Contact, delete that contact whose account ID is equal to my record dot ID. Okay, you click on done and I'll click this connector. Now if you see here, there is the new version of this flow. So I will make it at version 2 and save. And I'll click on activate and I'll try to again go the same. So this is the Satyam Foundation account. Let me create another account. Aman Tiwari, sorry, another contact. Aman Tiwari. Okay. And I will see this one, another one more for testing. Save. And now if you see here that checkbox is checked, right? I will uncheck this and I will click on save. And if I go here and check this reset contact checkbox, contacts got deleted. The same requirement, there are two ways, okay? But the optimum way is directly to remove that get records and directly do it, okay? Another, like this is just for your learning. So if there is any beginner who's just started his career in Salesforce, and you know that we normally get this option, write a trigger, like whenever an account is whenever an account gets deleted, contact should also get deleted. The same thing we can achieve through flow as well. So just I want to show the power of flow. What you can do is you can select an account object and you can select this option. Okay, just I wanted to show you this option as well. A record is deleted. And here I'm not giving any condition. Okay, and this optimize the flow before that every time a record is edited to meet the requirement, only when a record is edited to meet the requirement, that all things will be wiped off. Okay. Now we'll click on done and I'll click here free form. I will click this delete records and I will say again, delete contacts. Okay, so this is, I think many of you who have given the interview, you might have seen this particular, what do you say, scenario. Like whenever account gets deleted, delete the contact, delete its related contact as well. So before this, the example, I gave you an example where there is a checkbox to see and then you delete the contact. But here directly when an account is getting deleted, my contact should also get deleted. So I will say account ID should be equal to record, that is account dot ID. Okay, and I'll click on done. I'll connect this connectors, save, sample, delete, flow, save. Okay, I'll click on activate and let's test it. So how to test it? We'll go to this. We'll try to delete this account. So again, I will create some contacts. So test or test contact, delete. One more, con delete test. Okay, now I'll save this. Now I will just open this contact on a new tab, this board contact, to show you that when I'm deleting this account, this contact is also getting deleted. So I will delete. Are you sure you don't want to delete this account? Yes. Now that account got deleted. Okay. Now let's see whether this contact is deleted or not. Let me refresh this. See, that contact also got deleted. Looks like there is a problem. Let's see whether this contact got deleted. Yes. So if anyone in the future asks you to write a trigger when an account is getting deleted and contact should also get deleted. So instead of trigger, you can use this record trigger flow. Okay. Now with that, I think I have covered all the scenarios. You can try this. Okay. This is the assignment I will be giving. And this 2 assignments you can try if you want. There is no compulsion. As I told you, I'm not going to check your assignment. This is only for your practice. So you can make a note of it and you can try it. So with that, I think we are at the end. Yes, with that, we complete the record trigger flow. So I will stop my screen sharing. And if you have any doubts, you can shoot on to the doubts, or else we can move on to the Kahoot part.
So we'll wait for another 2 minutes. If there is any doubt, you can post it out in the comment section, or else, Praveen, we are good to go with the Kahoot part. So till the time, okay, how to do bulkification? Yes, that is a good question. I will show you the bulkification part in the screen flow, where I will create a collection and then I will show you the bulkification part. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So one more thing that I wanted, till the time you are entering questions, I wanted to tell you about this course from Rohit. So Rohit has brought up this course, and this course is very nice. Why I'm talking about this course is because I myself I bought this course from different account. Okay, you might be feeling that I have not bought the course and I'm talking about. So I did has bought this course, and currently this course is very nice. It will be covering all the parts, like how you can use your VS Code in very different ways, and then you can you can use that extension, Salesforce extension part that are available, how you can use that extension pack, and how you can make your VS Code as well as your Salesforce Apex part more enhanced way. Okay, I think rather than me, Rohit can tell you more about this. So Rohit, you want to talk about your course? Let me see whether Rohit is there or not. Oh, he's not here. I'm sorry, guys. So this course is very nice. If you're planning to buy, do buy it out. There will be some discount coupons also will be shared with you in the last session. And today, the winner of today's session will get Udemy vouchers from Salesforce Hunt, which is nothing but the channel by Rohit Kumar himself. So with that, I think there is no question to be answered. Let me check. No, there is no question. Okay, so Praveen, I'll stop sharing. We can go ahead with the Kahoot part.
Yeah, okay. Aman.
So till the time the Kahoot is starting, it's a very humble request to all of you. If you are learning something, if you learn from the session, please post it out on the Twitter so that other people who are trying to learn Flow will understand. They can go to the recordings and they can show it, see it and learn from it. Okay, so do post out about the things on the Twitter as well, or any other social media channels where we can reach out maximum number of people. So with that said, we are ready to start the Kahoot. I will strictly not admit anyone, because I have seen many people who will join at the end when they come to know that Kahoot is starting. So I won't admit anyone. Praveen, just don't admit anyone into the Zoom meeting now. Okay, to into this session.
Yeah, okay.
We'll just go with this 29 participants. So all you need to do is you just need to open your browser and just need to type kahoot.it, and you just need to enter this game pin. So game pin, I will be just, you need to first type kahoot.it, and then you need to enter this game pin, which is 2153474. Okay. 29 participants I can see, and then there are only 8 people in the Kahoot. So do participate with this Kahoot. Okay, we'll wait for another 1 minute. And if anyone is joining, it's fine. Otherwise, we'll lock the room and we'll start. Oh, player limit reached. Okay, so I think we have set a limit. Is there any limit, Praveen?
No, no.
Okay, no problem. Don't open that part. Fine. Okay, you can lock the quiz and we can start. Just lock it first. Okay, so get ready, everyone. This comes the first question. What is the alternative for workflow rule process builder in record trigger flow? And your options are schedule path, after save trigger, before save trigger, asynchronous path. Quite tricky question. Okay. Let's see the correct answer. Correct answer is after save trigger. Okay, 10 of you have answered correctly. So that means yes, people were paying attention in the session. Next question. Let's see what is the next question. Before that, who is the leaderboard? So we have Shabrish, Murli, and Ravina. So there's a game rule. Okay, I'll tell you. How many types of entry conditions are available while configuring record trigger flow? And question is 1, 2, 3, 4. How many types of entry conditions are available when configuring record trigger flow? Okay. Nice. Perfect. 14 people have answered it right. Let's see the leaderboard. Okay, just hold on, Praveen. So there is a game rule. I want to tell you that we all believe in a giveaway. So if the same person who has won in the previous session is winning, so we will not consider that particular candidate because you have already won once. We will give it to the second person who will win it. So I think Murli has won in the previous session. So if he again wins it today, so sorry Murli, we won't be able to give it because that's the rule of the game. So we will pass it to someone else. So still you can try it and you can play this game for your learning. But if someone already has won in the previous session, this vouchers or the swags won't be given to the same person again. Okay, with that, let's move on to the next question. Which is not the global variable? Easy one. User API collection record. Easy one and tricky one. User API collection record. If you see the first screen that I showed you in the beginning itself, there I showed all the global variables that are available. So it is asking which is not the global variable. Okay, 10 of you have answered it right and 6 people have selected API. So API is a global variable. The correct answer is collection. Yes. Let's move on to see the leaderboard. Nice. So there is a tough competition between Sabrish and Murli. Let's see who wins. Which element can be used to query records from database? Get element, create element, query element, none of the above. I think none of the above is the answer, right? Which element can be used to query records from database? Get element, create element, query element, or none of the above? Oh my God. Yes, 15 have answered it correct. Someone has listened to my answer also. Someone has said none of the above. Okay, so again, Shabrish is on top. Ankit is trying hard. He's on the 4th place. Up 4 places. Let's see another one. Next. Who is called the father of Indian Trailblazer community? Tricky question. Gaurav Khetrapal sir, Kavindra Patel sir, Amit Singh sir, or Om Prakash Jha sir? Who is called the father of Indian Trailblazer community? If you are very much active into the Trailblazer community, you will know the answer. Oh, that was very close. There was a Kavindra Patel and Amit Singh. Yes, the correct answer is Kavindra Patel. He was the one who bought Salesforce Trailblazer community in India. So he's called the father of Indian Trailblazer community. Let's move on to the next question. Oh, Sabresh is again on top. That's nice. Amrutesh is trying his best. Good. The last question, game decider question. Let's see. Record trigger flow can have screen element. True or false? Very easy. Record trigger flow can have screen element. True or false? I shown you just now. I shown you whether it can have or it cannot have. Let's see the correct one. Yes, 14 have answered it correct. Thanks a lot. It does mean that you all are paying attention to my session, so that's a good thing. Let's see who is the winner. Okay, the third place goes to Shubhajit. Nice. Second one is Murli. And the first one is Sabrish, I think. Yes, Sabrish, congratulations. You will get this Udemy vouchers from Salesforce and from Rohit. So just mention your email ID in the chat box and we will send Udemy vouchers. To all the other out there, we also will have another session in next week. And after that, Winter 23 update will be there. So stay updated to that particular session. Try to do the assignments which I have shown in the exam in this session. Also, there will be what you call social media handle contest at the last session. So stay tuned and do join that sessions, and you will come to know about all that. With that, that's the end of this session. Okay. Who was the winner? Sabrish. Yes, Sabrish has said his email ID. Yeah, you can get this. Okay, it takes some time from the logistics team. So we have already raised the request. Murli, you will get the this swag in this month.
Aman.
Yeah.
Sushant is saying to postpone this quiz due to only 20 participants are allowed.
Okay. Okay, so what we will do, now we have already have a winner, Pravin. How can we postpone it?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So we won't be able to postpone it. Thank you. Subrish, you are the winner. You will get the voucher. Okay, so there are some glitches that happens from Kahoot as well. So we are very sorry for that. I hope you enjoyed the session. Do let me know whether the session went good or not. You can always reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter. So I'll just share my LinkedIn handle here. And thank you so much to Pravin and Trailblazer Community Group Sales, this one. New Delhi Salesforce Group for hosting this session.
Thank you, Aman. This is a great session.
Thanks, Pravin. I'm very sorry for that interruption that happens for the internet connection. Other than that, if you have any questions or anything related to your this session or anything related to Salesforce, you can reach out to me through LinkedIn. So this is my LinkedIn handle. With that thing, we are good to close the session, Pravin.
Yeah.
That's all from my end. Thank you so much, everyone.